Hello, everyone. Welcome once again to Tom's Corner, where you hear the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth. So help me God. The other dog is taking off today. So we've got this one, and her name is Dolly. So Dolly will be working with me today. As you can tell by my voice, I have got the cooties. I'll be coughing off and on. Some people will say in their religious fervor, they will tell you that I'm not sick. Well, I am sick, okay? It's just a part of what we call nature. So you'll see me hacking, probably using a lot of tissue. I really used them yesterday, but I will tell you this. God is healing me, okay? It's a little bit of a process here because I'm old, but God has definitely healed me. And I'm not complaining. We're gonna do something today. We're gonna talk about, are we a faithless generation? Now this dog's gonna be pogoing a little bit because she's not used to working with her daddy, and she may bite me a couple times, but that's okay. I can handle that. Here we go. Are we a faithless generation? The term faithless generation is a biblical reference most famously used by Jesus in the Gospels to describe the people of his time, including his disciples. Due to their lack of faith and belief, some interpretations suggest it refers to a specific generation that would experience tribulation, while others see it as a recurring issue of human unfaithfulness throughout history, regardless over the specific time period. Now also, Jesus' statement, the phrase, "oh faithless and perverse generation," would you be calm, appears in the passage like Matthew 17:17 and Mark 9:19, where Jesus uses it to express his frustration with the lack of faith from both the crowd and his own disciples, who were unable to cast out a demon from a boy. And we've already went through that discussion because they could not cast him out. And so Jesus told them later what? He said, this kind can only come out by prayer and fasting. All right, let's go on. Significance. For some, the phrase highlights the importance of a person's faith in their spiritual life and the idea that one should not go through the motions of religion without genuine belief. Isn't that cute? All right, recurring theme. Over other interpretations argue that the faithless generation is a recurring theme, not limited to a single time period. It points to the human tendency to be disloyal and unfaithful to God, even when witnessing his power. I'm still here, people. All right. Now, if you knew you were going to die, would you seek out a prophet of God? Now listen very carefully. Or a man of God that has a gift of healing. Now, did you hear what I said? But you say, I don't believe in prophets in our time, even when the book of Revelation tells of two in our time that is coming soon. They're alive now on the earth, but they will appear very soon. So that dissolves what you have been taught, that there are no prophets of God, and they only were there at Jesus' time. Okay? You got that straight. So, Bible says this, let God be truth, and let every man be a liar. Is that not true? Well, we're sure hearing a lot of booger tales in life that we're living today, especially coming from the pulpit. All right, let's go on. Or would you say, I don't believe a person can have a gift of healing today? Okay, you deny healing. Well, guess what? You go to the doctors. Nowadays, when doctors, they cannot hardly diagnose anything anymore. I've never saw anything like it. People go to a doctor to die, give you a prognosis, you're going to die. It's about that's the way it goes, okay? All they know is cut them and gut them, and I'm going to prove something to you. When I was having back surgery, L5S1, and it was killing me, I had the doctor film me. In other words, I had a VCR that I could sit down and watch him going in there. And I'm going to show you something. When he made the cut, it was about like that. They spread it out. When they went in, he used a pair of pliers, needle nose pliers. You know what he was doing? He was pulling the crab meat that had blown out from my disc. The crab meat that I'm referring to is a shock absorber in between each bone, okay, in the back. Now, I even watched him pull up the white little noodle, I'm referring to a noodle, sciatic nerve, okay? To you that want to be politically correct. I watched him lift that so he didn't cut it, okay? Otherwise, I wouldn't have any feeling. Okay, so what he did, then he took a round little curved needle nose pliers and started pulling the crab meat out. I'm referring to as the disc that had blown, and took that out. Now, not a complicated thing. People think scared to death because, I don't know what to do. All right, I'm going to tell you something else. I talked to the same doctor that operated on him. It was John Smith III. He was one of the best neurosurgeons, I think, that ever was in the state of West Virginia. I talked to him later and everything because I had some problem about pain in my back because I had overlifted. Well, he told me, he said, Tom, you're worse off now than you ever was. But I'm going to tell you something. I wasn't. I was able to do anything I wanted to do. I still can do anything I want to do. But if they put MRIs on me, they will look at my back and the spine, and they say, man, you're in the worst shape I've ever seen. You got bulging discs above it. You've got your two L5S discs there on L5S1 have finally come down on one another. I'm not in pain. I can walk where I want to go. The only problem I've got, no, don't be nasty to me. I got a little bit overweight, and I don't feel like walking. I never did like to walk. I definitely didn't run, but I do work every day, as much as I can. I got 38 acres. I got a lot to do, and I do it. And God has healed me and given me the ability, no matter what you think, that well, I don't believe in healing. Well, I'm a walking miracle. Okay, now we say we don't believe in miracles today. When I was around the age of 12, I laid on a couch. Listen very carefully. And every time I took a breath, it felt like a knife was sticking into my sides. And around my eyes, they were turning black. My mother had gone to church. It was an old storefront, not very big, on St. Clair Avenue in Cleveland, Ohio. My mother got the old, skinny, slightly thinning hair preacher to come and pray for me. He got down beside me with his old black Bible in his hand, and he began to pray that God would heal me. As he was on his knees praying out loud, I began to feel the pain lift from my body, and I knew that God had healed me. Even to this day, I never had that episode again. Now, I want you to think on something here. Here I am, 12 years old. I'm not praying. I didn't pray. I was in too much pain to pray. I was in total, complete misery. Each breath that I took was like those knives stabbing into me, and it was killing me. I didn't pray. But this old preacher came in that had faith in God and believed in healing, got down beside me, and he prayed for me, and God certainly did deliver me. Now, let's go on. I've got another story for you. At around the same time, in the back area of the old 3-story apartment, where we lived on the third floor. I was pounding bent nails into old boards, making a very crude go-kart that you had to push with small wagon wheels on it. Okay? All of a sudden, my left arm that I was using to pound the nails in began to go numb and swell up. My upper lip and face began to swell. I ran upstairs with my mother crying. She placed me on the bed. She immediately began praying for me. God heard her prayer. Again, it wasn't me praying. Mother prayed. All right? She immediately began praying for me. God heard her prayer, and I began to feeling the swelling go down. And I never had this happen again. We had no money to go to a doctor. Had no way, no means. We're talking about a long time ago. But God delivered me. He healed me, folks. And get this. The effectual, fervent prayer of a righteous man availeth much. My mother prayed. God heard her praise because she was a godly woman. And when she prayed, God heard her prayers. The same thing in the world we're living in today. We prefer to go to a doctor and have him cut us and butcher us. I've got a lot of stories, and I will probably, as time goes by, I'm going to tell you each story, how that God had miraculously healed me and all things that's happened in my life, how that God touched my body, not once, but thousands and thousands of times. And I'll give you some of them, trying to bring your faith up to realize, and I'm going to tell you something. If you lack faith in your healing, find you a man of God or a woman of God or a church that believes in prayer and in healing, and get yourself healed. Amen. I'll see you the next trip. God bless.